go live mainly because there was some inflating, and I wanted. It was like half I wanted to see, like half.
I'm not taking any responsibility for any.
It was like
this.
half
No
I wanted to break it up, but the other half was like, wow, this is like too good to not have on camera. You know what I mean? So I mean, we'll get right back
cool
into it because introductions don't matter. But I'm James Hyden, your host, with my guys Talk Lock. How are you?
You know how I am. Let's go right down the line.
Well, there's that. The man, YG young gentleman, James Jackson. How are you?
I'm good, man. We're all part of the NFL 1-0 club. A win is a win. I'll give you all that, but we got some things to break down.
Oh yeah.
The man of many digits, 31 digits to be exact. Max Coolish, how are you?
Let's go. It's a great victory Monday. You're allowed to be happy.
Absolutely.
Part of what our infighting was about backstage.
Absolutely.
And boys, it's a long trail to whatever your record ends up being in this 17 games. But the trail to 17-0 starts with 1-0. At least that's what the script tells me. I'm not the best at math. Nobody's ever claimed I was a genius before. But yeah, am I not using? Can you guys still hear me, or am I?
Oh no, we can hear you. It just sounds a little.
All right, let me. Is that better?
There it is.
Ooh, okay.
There he is.
Well, crispy.
There he is. There's the better man.
My goodness.
Like I said, I've never been told I was the smartest tool in the shed, but I think 17-0 needs to start with 1-0. Correct, gentlemen?
I believe that's how. Yes, I believe that's how they taught me to count. Yeah.
All right, good. I'm glad I'm not too far off the mark there. So let's get right into our first question here, boys. We had a little bit of discussion about it last week, with our last guest. We decided we needed some answers, and we knew we were going to get them on the first NFL Sunday, but we didn't know we were going to get those kind of answers. So, boys, I'm going to come around to you, Max. I'm putting you on the spot, brother.
All right.
Did this opening domination answer any of your questions, and if so, what are those answers?
I mean, small sample size, right? Let's get that out of the way. Week one.
Give me some more headroom, brother. I want to see that.
I know. You went live on me too early. You went live.
There you go.
I wasn't ready. I look like a mess. One thing that did give me some nice answers, some good closure that I was really hoping to see. We got our playmakers of the ball in space. The first drive, what happened? Quez Watkins back-to-back bubble screens. I don't think I've ever seen two bubble screens on the same drive from Doug Peterson.
Back to back, actually.
Back. You're right. Excuse me. It was the first three plays. I wasn't sure if there was a break in there, but that was my point. That Nick Sirianni clearly game planned to his player strengths. He got Quez Watkins the ball in space early. When Devonta Smith was in man coverage, he made sure that the ball was going to him. He gave Jalen Hurts the ability to hand the ball to Sanders or keep it himself plenty of times. Jalen Hurts rewarded him by making correct decisions on probably every play that they ran. Jalen Hurts, you make the read play, except that 4th and 4. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. I think that I got a lot of answers in terms of how is this team going to be coached offensively. I loved what I saw. The offensive line looked great. Ironically, Lane Johnson was the worst offensive lineman the Eagles had on Sunday, which isn't something we say often. And the offensive line was dominant after maybe the first quarter. They really picked it up. They imposed their will in that game. And likewise with the defense, but that wasn't more until the second half. So I would say the biggest question that I got answered was, how is this team going to look offensively? Are they going to be boring run, pass, or are they going to be, a little bit more what you would expect a 35-year-old coach to run you? Get your playmakers in space with the ball. Let them do the work. Don't make your quarterback have to do everything himself on every play.
All right, JJ, we had some questions. What answers did you get? And I'm going in this order for a very particular reason.
And here's the thing. I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade. Digits, you know me, brother. The last thing I want to do is take your sunshine, man. Last thing I want to do is take a smile off your face, man. Absolutely. But I am always trying to do. I know I am just always here to provide perspective and reality. It's where you can always rely on me, and I pride myself on bringing that to you guys. So with that being said, I think the very first thing that you said provided all the context that you needed, and I'm glad you said it first. Small sample size. It is week one. And I get with, a new team and new pieces, you look for the first indications you can get, and if they're good, you run with them. But this is a small sample size against a very bad Atlanta Falcons team. A terrible Atlanta Falcons team. You guys did play the Falcons. I know you don't want to hear it. I know that's like a part of this whole equation that you want to blow by. but you did play a very struggling and down bad Atlanta Falcons teams. There are a few bright spots on the Falcons, and most of them reside on offense. Not many of them reside on defense. Another reason why I think my questions didn't get answered yet is because I wanted to see how Jalen Hurts progressed throughout the season. I can't see progression throughout the season in one game. It got off to the right foot, and I was the first one to give a lot of props and a lot of praise to how Jalen Hurts played the game. He controlled the game, made decisive throws, took what the defense gave him, used his legs when he needed to, but, stayed within the offense. Like, he was looking at a very poised quarterback. And then I remembered he played the Falcons. Like, a lot of people can look that good against the Falcons defense. I always want to leave the caveat there because it reigns true. So were all my questions answered? No, but I think for a majority of the NFL teams, my questions haven't been answered yet. But it got off to the right foot. You guys did what you're supposed to do. You beat a down bad Atlanta Falcons team. Thank you.
We were supposed to beat them. We were underdogs.
You did what you're supposed to do, so good job.
Well, I was here, then I was here. So, Josh, you need to at least bring me back to here.
Yeah, that should be no problem for me, Banners. You know me. You know me. JJ, I'm not hearing any complaints about
let's preface this by saying this is the guy who up until about a week and a half ago would have still preferred Doug Peterson. So let's with that being on the table.
Give me 3 weeks there, Banners. Give me 3 weeks ago. I would have preferred Doug
Some people don't take
Sure.
change well.
Yeah. All right.
But hey, man, I swung and I swung hard. If you check the tape, I said I was a fan of Nick Sirianni right before the season. And listen, my number one question was, I think, Max, you were talking about it. What was this offense going to look like? And what was his defense going to look like? Like, what was his team going to look like? That's answered. Now, the success, I'm not expecting 32 or 33-6 every game. But, JJ, I think you're being a little bit, if not a lot, unfair about your assessment of this game here. I knew exactly what you were going to come in and say. Remember, you played the Falcons. But, JJ, all offseason, you were talking about the Eagles like they were at the same level as the Falcons. To me, when you go in and you don't squeak out, this was not the sloppy game that even someone who thinks the Eagles are going to make the playoffs, expected. This was a domination. This was a leave no doubt who's the better team. And it's not like there was a coaching matchup. It's not like I'd say most people in the national media.
It ended up being a coaching matchup.
But I mean, exactly. But it's not like, you got rookie against rookie. And if you were to say, who's got the edge in the quarterback? Who's got the edge in wide receivers? I think everyone would be saying the Falcons going into this game. And I got those questions answered. Jalen Hurts is a legitimate NFL quarterback. Miles Sanders, I'm seeing a lot of progression already just in game one. Oh, and fellas, you should have seen me when the first touchdown of the year was Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith. I mean, awesome. if you were an Eagles fan, that was you go under the Christmas tree, because the off season, you're just staring at this wrapped present. Oh man, you can't wait till Christmas. Boom, there it is. You open it up, and it's that nice bicycle you were waiting for, and they just didn't stop going. So I still have some questions. I will admit, yes, it was the Falcons, but they dominated the Falcons. They showed they're a tier above the bottom of the league because I've just heard too many people talking about this team like they're hot garbage. Feels very vindicated for the Jalen Hurts camp and the Eagles going to the playoffs camp. And fellas, let me say this one last thing. I think this is a two-team race in the NFC East, boys. Ooh, boy. It's the Cowboys and the Eagles.
It was going to be which two teams. So what I'll say is I don't know if I don't know. I don't want the answers part of my take to sound like a cop-out, but I'm not going to let myself find answers in week one. I'm not going to search for things to answer questions. To me, what this game really did was give a new question. And how close can the Atlanta Falcons come to that 0-6 team Detroit team? Because
thank God Banners is here, man.
Well, I'm not saying that to take anything away from the Eagles.
Thank God,
and I'll get to that in a little bit with some of our next questions. But like Arthur Smith made a very good case for not having that job yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And Max said it pre-show, to force the ball to Hayden Hurst and Cordarrelle Patterson over your 6'5" tight end who ran to 440. That's
shaky, baby.
That's not even shaky, baby dog. That's like
gross.
that's
gross.
that's like interim head coach by week 6. Like that's terrible. That is some bad stuff right there.
Let me say one just brief thing. Oh, the main question that was answered was that this is not going to be last year. Like, and I know that might sound crazy.
How do you know?
Because last year, to me, this is like the
offense
Bengals
didn't
game.
look as fluid as they did in that game once last year.
Except
they
for
didn't score
maybe
30 points in a single game last year, JJ.
You do it against a middle tier defense or a top tier defense.
Dude, I don't care.
You
do it against a single opponent last year.
I'm talking
about last year. Who we were against. I don't care. Last year was a train wreck. Last year's allowed to be a train wreck. It's in the past. Last year has nothing to do with this year. Knew everything.
It's better.
Knew everything.
It's better than last year already.
So I'll tell you what question did get answered for me, and I'm going to tie that into our next question, boys. And our next question, just to preface my answer, is going to be who impressed you the most? Okay, it's going to be answers are going to be limited to Hurts, Sirianni, or the defense. And me personally, I want to go first because this ties up my answer. My answer from the last question is Nick Sirianni by far.
By far. That's mine too.
I listen, jokes notwithstanding about his first introductory press conference, to build off of that, the press conference he gave after that win was one of the most like professional and like put together press conferences I've ever heard. Like the dude came in, the first question I believe was like if somebody asked him, could that have gone any better for you? And he said no, but he also found things to work on in a manner that was like not taking away from the win, but he's like, hey, we just blew somebody out, but I still see some things that we can work on, and I'm excited to work on them. Like the things that he saw that he's excited about are like the guys who were making mistakes yesterday were the veterans. Like those false start penalties and those things, like easy mental mistakes to clean up, especially for veterans who don't have a track record of that. You know what I mean? So it's those things that he jumped on, he saw, and he's like, no, you know what? I'm excited to go attack these because I am really excited about what that means once we fix those. And also, you don't see it much on the sidelines. He went over to the defense. Like he's an offensive-minded head coach. All the questions before the season were like, how much is he really involved in the defense? Like how much does he really split his time? And he went over to the whole bench and was like, yo, guys, we got to get going. Like this is, he really showed he was a head coach, not just an offensive guru, which I know is like a buzzword now or buzz term now in the NFL. Not just like an offensive guy brought in to play offense. Like he was, no, I'm going to go play the role of head coach. So my answers, at least for now, I think my answer, I have a pretty good answer on my Sirianni question, and he definitely impressed me the most. So boys, we're going to go back around. Josh, who impressed you the most?
Well, to be honest, it's Sirianni, but I have a feeling everyone's going to say Sirianni. So let me highlight the defense here. I'll highlight the defense. You guys know I love Jalen Hurts, but to me, that was expected, right? Like you know it. I drafted Hurts in all 3 of my fantasy leagues, 3-0. Thank you, Jalen. And I was just like, okay, this is exactly what I knew he could do, and he did it. The defense, on the other hand, the Falcons marched right down the field first drive. And I was a little bit unsettled because I was talking a lot of smack on Mike Davis this last week. I was really a non-believer. And he made the defense look like Swiss cheese in the first 2 drives, honestly. The fact that they held them to field goals on that, I mean, let's just focus on the first drive. The fact that they held them to field goal on that first drive there, that set the tone for the rest of the game. And boys, let me just say it again. I do know it's the Falcons, right? I'm not freaking out. But only 2 teams in all the NFL didn't allow a touchdown. It's the Saints and it's the Eagles, barring anything happening crazy tonight. So I was a little bit nervous about this. I mean, not a little bit. I was a lot nervous about this defense all offseason. And I kind of feel like they stumbled into a pretty good thing here. And it's really highlighted at Banners. You called it Javon Hargrave. Like that 1-2 punch of Fletcher Cox taking the double teams. And you know, it's a little thunder and lightning here. You know, you got Fletcher Cox, the power guy, Hargrave, a little more speed and finesse. I think that's going to be a nice combination for the rest of the year. So
I don't know if anybody's ever called Hargrave lightning once before.
Well, he's not lightning, but compared to the punch that Fletch packs and takes the double team, Hargrave little small Hargrave slithering in between those guards there. But I love the defense. I saw what I wanted to see. I would have liked to see more from Slay, but I'm not going to sit here and say he had a bad game. So I'm very impressed with the defense. So you guys can take the Sirianni answer now because, come on, that was amazing.
Hey, Ridley's one of the best route runners out there too.
Yeah.
So JJ, who impressed you the most, man? Hurts, Sirianni, the D.
The Falcons are such a directionless team, but I actually am going to go. I actually am going to go Nick Sirianni, and like I don't say this lightly because you guys know I was one of the biggest Nick Sirianni critics. You know, I never shied away from getting a little jab at Nicky No Words over there, but I had to give him his props. One, I mean, we talked about this off camera a little bit or to start the show. Just the willingness to get his special players the ball with space early and often is just something that was missing in the Eagles offense. He absolutely went and did it. Also, keeping Miles Sanders much ingrained in the offense. Like I think last season there was a lot of times, granted, Miles wasn't always the most secure with the football, but there were many times last season where Miles Sanders found himself on the outside of the Eagles offense, and it was, you know, a little bewitching and weird that Miles Sanders wasn't getting the touches that we all thought. But I think one of the things that impressed me the most about just the game Nick Sirianni had yesterday is I think his relationship with Jalen Hurts is really starting to like blossom through and shine through. And he was originally brought here as a fix Carson Wentz kind of project as a head coach. And you know, we all know that Jalen Hurts is not his quarterback, but the offense that he's calling for him, the way Jalen Hurts is shining in his offense, I think is really impressive to me, and it speaks to how Nick Sirianni is being as a play caller. So I'm going to give him his props for that. And I was just where my expectation level lied, I was really impressed with Nick Sirianni yesterday.
The man of 31 digits.
I mean, you guys took primary and secondary answers, so all I will add on to the discussion is in terms of what impressed me.
You're telling me Hurts is the tertiary answer of these.
I mean, when you expect that.
I mean,
I wouldn't expect him to be tertiary.
I don't want to say I expected it, but the one thing that really stood out to me the most, you asked me what impressed me the most is, maybe this is just, you know, having the breath of fresh air, but big shout out to Jonathan Gannon. It was nice having a defensive coordinator who adjusted his game plan on the fly. It's been a couple of years since I've been able to experience that. Josh, you kind of touched on this, but the Falcons were carving them up on the ground in the first quarter plus, quarter and a half, you know, somewhere in that range. And then something just flipped. I mean, granted, we all know the Falcons don't have the best offensive line. That's why they got, you know, killed for taking Kyle Pitts over, you know, one of the tackles that were available. But with that being said, we made huge adjustments in terms of how we were playing both the run and the pass, and they both worked because the Falcons were moving the ball with little resistance early on in the game. And their second half, they didn't have a drive that ended in anything better than a punt. So I think that is truly an incredible job. I think that's, you know, testament to the coaching staff all around. I think part of that has to go to Sirianni. But it's not tough being a rookie anything, especially a rookie defensive coordinator when the odds are stacked against you on every play that you're out there. So I have to give a shout out to Jonathan Gannon for a very impressive debut and you know, a willingness to, or excuse me, showing the ability and the willingness to change up what he thought would work to make it, you know, fit better for the game environment.
Right. I mean, let's give Jalen Hurts a nod, I guess, because I think it would be irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves credit.
Of us, I guess, not give him a nod. But I am more impressed with Nick Sirianni's kind of performance in that game than I am of Jalen Hurts. And I think that is like all respect to Jalen Hurts, if that makes sense.
I think we can't give Jalen Hurts impressive respect without mentioning one thing. That throw to Dallas Goedert for his second touchdown was an absolute laser. Absolutely laser of a throw. Gorgeous throw. Mm-hmm. I think we'd be remiss to not say we were impressed by that because I know I sure as hell was.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts is a baller. Like I don't think he's going to go out and light the world on fire, and I don't think he absolutely lit the world on fire yesterday, but he had an impressive showing for, you know.
I think he was very solid, but I think that was like, I think that's a highlight worthy play. I think that play is like clearly that's a Jalen Hurts career highlight real play.
Right. Solid is what I expect from Jalen Hurts. I don't expect, but I expect him to be a solid quarterback. He was a solid quarterback, very solid.
If there was anybody questioning whether or not he deserved to be the starter of this football team, they no longer have anything to say.
Yeah, I hope there wasn't really much.
I hope Gardner Minshew wasn't. No one was expecting Gardner Minshew to be the starter.
He wasn't even active.
He wasn't even active.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like that's so we talked about all the positives right there. Boys, did you see anything? And I'm gonna throw this to the floor. I'm not even gonna go in an order here. Like, was there anything that worried you? Like, would you pump the brakes on anything you saw specifically?
It worries me how much Eagles fans are forgetting about, you know, the fact that it's the Falcons again.
We're talking about the team, not the Eagles fan.
You're banned from that phrase for the rest of the show. For the sake of time.
It's only the Falcons. Like it's only the
Okay,
Falcons.
there you go. You're done. You're 50 cents in the swear jar every time you use it now. I kind of touched on this earlier. The second fourth down that they went for, which was a 4th and 4 in field goal range. Yes, the field goal doesn't make it a 3-possession game, but I think that you take the points there, you're cruising. Just it's good to keep things rolling, and I guess that I wouldn't have an issue with it if they did convert, but I don't like the play call there to do RPO when it is a very obvious passing situation. I would say at 4th and 4. I feel like teams are not going to really respect a run, especially a fake handoff off the gut. It is what it is. That is really my big qualm for the game is that
It's like a classic halfback draw situation, though.
Exactly. Like it could be, but I think at this point in the current climate of the NFL, nobody's respecting. You're going off the books if you're running on 4th and 4. I think it's contradictory to common logic.
Cleveland did a hell of a job with those last year. I think I saw a statistic somewhere that Nick Chubb converted like 8 first downs on halfback
that
draws
makes sense,
on fourth and short. So
that's the Browns' identity. I think they are also going against the common grain of logic at this point in the NFL. I don't know. I didn't like it. If you're gonna, especially if you are gonna pass the ball there, just don't fake the ball. It's a quick pass. You need 4 yards. It's not like you need to. I don't know. I just didn't see the use in it. I didn't like the play call. I think it would have been safer just to take the points as is, and then I want to criticize the play call on top of that. But that's really the only qualm that I had. Like I was worried about the run defense to start. That got fixed. I had all my offensive questions answered more or less from the start. Maybe I would have liked to see a little bit more consistency towards Devonta Smith, but there was no real reason to. So I'm not going to complain about really much here.
Got a little cute there, I'll admit. Yeah, Josh, what are you thinking?
Well, first of all, the 4th down play. I'm the biggest believer. If it's 3rd and short, and you're going to go for it on 4th down, you run the ball on 3rd down.
Run the ball 100%.
It drives me insane every time I see that. But I actually, I got two small things that I got qualms with. One is that the defense needs to show up earlier because they had 3 sacks in this game, and all 3 came in the second half. I almost feel like all 3 came in the 4th quarter, and I don't know. I just felt like they weren't getting enough pressure on Matt Ryan in the first half, and I just feel like a better team will make you pay for that, and then you're playing from behind. And then the other qualm I had, it's nothing major. It's just now I'm being greedy. It's that there was no big play on the offense.
That was mine.
Yeah, no, and that's something I've been accustomed to as an Eagles fan. But if you're playing a game like a cagey game against a defensive team, maybe we'll see that against the Niners. You needed that big play ability. Now, listen, maybe part of it comes from they didn't need it in this game, right? Like they got the lead and they were able to just kind of cruise it out and chunk it down the field, which, look, I'm all good with that. But if you're asking me to find problems with the team, that was something that, as an Eagles fan, we've been missing that for years, and I'm still waiting to see it.
What do you consider big play then?
Just like
like home run, blow the
20,
top off
20 plus yards.
Yeah.
Wasn't
just like a guy gets open space and he's running down the sideline for a 50-yard touchdown, something like that. And it's just
I guess the Devontae Smith pass was only
16 or 18 yards.
Yeah, I don't know why that one felt like a 26, 28 yarder to me.
Because the ball went in the air, like the ball had a nice part. Like
it was a moonball.
We don't see that. Like
and we
every
got
Eagles passing touchdown the last 2 years has been a bubble screen or a drag route.
That was like a Russell Wilson light moonball. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the 65-yard moonball. It
wasn't like the one Tyler Lockett caught on Sunday.
That was vintage moonball.
That was straight. That was Willie Mays sighting right there. That's a whole other conversation.
Real quick, boys. One thing I wanted to say about Jalen Hurts, so I can get a little bit of praise out, is his running. I'm in love with how Jalen Hurts makes decision making to run. That's a veteran.
Hold on,
he'll make you pay, but he's not greedy.
Teach him how to slide.
He
slides like he's never slid holding a football before, and that.
But I mean, he doesn't force it. He doesn't even look as fast as I remembered. He's just really good at making that decision.
He wasn't sprinting. He was in glide mode on Sunday.
Maybe that's one thing the Phillies team could do right. They could come teach him how to slide.
No Phillies talk.
No, all right. I tried.
No, shout out Bryce Harper. Still
shout out Bryce Harper. That's it. That's all you do.
In absolute hell. Sorry, buddy.
That's all you do.
Get this guy out of here. He deserves better.
I guess the one thing I would be a little bit worried about, and I brought this up earlier in Nick Sirianni's press conference, is like the veterans making all these mistakes. You know what I mean? So like the veterans, like most of the veterans aren't in that like the prime years of their career. They're well established veterans. at 30 or the wrong side of 30. So I don't want or think this will be a continued issue. I think they're very easily cleaned up because they are veterans, but just something to keep an eye on. Just because, I mean, you were away in a stadium with the first real crowd noise in over a year. So those things can happen. Just something to keep an eye on. You know what I mean? Last question of the main event. On to San Francisco, boys. And the Niners came out hot. Garoppolo fumbled on his first snap of the game. Trey Lance came in, scored, but Garoppolo came back in and looked good. Granted, that was against Man Campbell and the kneecap eating Lions. But yeah, we're on to the Niners. So what do we think here, JJ? I'm start with you, man. What's with the Niners versus the Eagles? Give me your feelings.
Well, first of all, the Niners did their best to give that game up yesterday. It almost happened. Like the Lions, like Jared Goff almost pulled a comeback off. That's all you need to know about the Lions. Or the Niners, excuse me. I was never really that high on the Niners going into the season. So I'm not sure if there was never a chance that you guys won this game. The momentum and the morale that you guys are carrying and going back home into the Link on Sunday against a Niners team who limped out a win. Like you guys absolutely have a chance to win this game, but don't let Trey Lance come in and make a name for himself at the Link. That's all I'll say. But I do think you have a chance to win this game. It's going to be a much different defense, a much tougher defense. But if Jared Goff can almost pull out a comeback and almost beat the Niners, then yeah, anybody can do it.
Corey, what's up, baby? I'm
Corey.
glad you're happy, bro.
Corey knows what it is.
Happy, bro.
My guy.
I'm glad you're happy. Max, Josh, I'm tossing this. Who wants to go first when the Niners come to Philly?
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, fellas. Well, the reason I threw this question on the dock is because last week, Banners, you asked, does anyone think there's a chance? Raise your hand if you think there's a chance the Eagles beat the Niners. And none of us raised our hands, except for Corey Jackson in the chat here, only believer. And it kind of seems like, I don't want to say a perfect storm, but I'm really starting to feel that they can pull it off. I'm not going to go out here and say, lock it in, that's a win. You know what I mean? But
that's a step. That's progress with you.
There
It is
you go.
progress.
It is progress.
It's all
Max
about
is
growth.
ready to lock it in.
Hey, man, the only time I said that last year was the Saints game, and, whatever. But Raheem Mostert on the IR, Jason Verrett,
On the
torn
IR.
ACL, and, that's certainly not nothing. Did anyone get hurt from the Eagles yesterday?
Somebody did. It was one of the corners, one of the depth corners. I forget who it is.
Because that's a shock to my
Epps.
system.
I think it was Will Epps, but I don't think it's major.
Marcus Epps? The
Marcus
safety?
Epps, excuse me.
You got Will Parks and Marcus Epps mixed
Yeah,
up there. That's not on you. But I don't know. And let's keep into account first game back at the Link, and the four of us know it's everything.
It's big.
That's everything right there.
On top of that, not only is it the first game back at the Link for the Eagles, this is a back-to-back road game for the 49ers. And
That's true.
statistically in history, back-to-back road games, especially if you're traveling, the 49ers are going to be away from home for 2 weeks. It sucks.
And fellas, Max, just one more thing. I got my microscope on the Mailata Bosa matchup. Like that is going to be one sort of test for Jordan Mailata.
Yeah. Who do they have rushing opposite Bosa?
Eric Armstead.
That's right. That's right. Max, do you care to?
I mean, I'll say this. I think that somehow the Lions were able to basically get carried back into this game by their running back play. And something I think bodes really well for the Eagles' chances is that Kenny Gainwell showed up. Kenny G played his sack solo, and he made a name for himself because
Played his sack solo.
I've been long on the record saying Miles Sanders is not a true RB1 in the sense that he is not a receiving weapon.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Swift had a long receiving touchdown and was a huge X factor in that game. And I think that could be Kenny Gainwell's role next week. I don't think it's fair to place the expectation of the Eagles need him to come out hot to win, but I think that could be your X factor. I think that, the 49ers show that they have a tendency, obviously, to take their foot off the gas. They were huge at halftime, and they broke a lot of people's wallets by the end of the day by letting up that last 2-point conversion.
That's all Man Campbell, bro. That's all.
It is. I mean,
Dan
Campbell. Dan Campbell's good. He's going to be Greg Schiano back at Tampa Bay 10 years ago, where they're trying to jump the line for victory formation kneels. I'm not saying that as a slight to the Bucs, but Dan Campbell strikes me as the kind of guy like, hey, if we're within 3 and you're trying to kneel out the ball in your territory, my guys are jumping the line. Different conversation, different day.
Yeah, that was a sad day.
What I'll say is this. the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, they want to run the ball, obviously. If the Eagles defense that showed up in the second half shows up from the start of the game, like Josh, that was a great point earlier, the defense can't take the first quarter off because the Niners will start fast on you. If that second half defense shows up, this is a big time field goal game through and through. This is ugly. This is a couple crucial plays from each side. And I think it's fair to say that if Jimmy Garoppolo starts, the Eagles have a more dynamic quarterback, a guy who's going to have more options on crucial short downs late in the game. I think the Eagles' capability to make plays behind the line of scrimmage with QBs and RBs, I think that could be the difference. I think it'll be a close game. I'm not going to sit here and predict blowouts, but I think that there's a clear formula for the Eagles to do it.
Last week, we all said no chance, boys. This is feeling good.
You said there's a formula for the Eagles to blow out the Niners?
No, just to win. Just to win.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how that goes. I believe it's a 1:00 game this upcoming week at the Link. First home game at Lincoln Financial Field in over a year. Let's see. If you're not going to the game and don't want to feel an earthquake, I would stay north of Oregon Ave, just for the sake of your eardrums and your balance. Boys, that's our first half. Before we get into our halftime, which we're going to do a little bit differently, I got to tell you about our friends over at PHL Sports Nation. Those guys are the best. They've, there's too many good guests to keep naming at this point, but I will. Jolliker, just to let you know I can still say it.
Never get it, man. Never
just to let you know I can still say it. Too many guests to count at this point. These guys over there. You got to check out our friends over at PHL Sports Nation, a local Philadelphia sports site covering your favorite teams across blogs and social media. PHLSportsNation.com. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Check them out across all forms of social media. They got a page for every team in the city, including your Philadelphia Union. So check them out, PHL Sports Nation. We got Sean Foley in here.
Yes, sir.
Go Birds. Go Birds. Let's see. Halftime. Josh, you cooked it up a little bit different for us this week. We're going to go into it because our favorite segment
Let's go.
Back, boys.
Our favorite gotta love it.
Is all the way back. And Josh, because you gave it to us, you go ahead and take the first crack so nobody takes your week one winner.
Oh, I love it. I appreciate it. My week one winner is Sam Darnold.
Ooh.
Did he play a lights out game? He played a pretty good game, actually. He actually played a pretty good game. But
played a lights dimmed game.
He played a lights dim game. The lights were at least still working because they weren't for the New York Jets for the nth year in a row. And I was just I don't know. I was just upset. Like, I don't care what the Jets do, but for a team that's consistently making bad decisions, I thought trading Sam Darnold to get to use your first round pick for another worse version of Sam Darnold was one of the most stupider decisions in recent franchise history for the Jets. Sam Darnold went out there, did exactly what Sam Darnold's been doing his whole career, and showed the Jets have not addressed all the other deficiencies and we're just too obsessed with Zach Wilson. That made me feel happy, and I love seeing a nice revenge story. So, Sam Darnold, you're my winner of week one.
All right. Moving on. JJ, your week one winner.
Man, Matt Stafford.
Yes,
Hey, LA feel a whole lot better than Detroit, don't it, baby? And he was looking like he was happy out there slinging the ball around. It would have made me really, really sad if Matt Stafford didn't look like the same Matt Stafford we saw in Detroit, just with a better offense and better weapons around him. But he did. The Rams look legit. You want to talk about how – look, I could say the Rams as a whole are my winners because not only did the offense look good, man, that defense looks absolutely crazy. And now they're moving Jalen Ramsey all over the field. Now they're putting them in a linebacker hybrid, letting them blitz the quarterback and get to the backfield. Yeah, their defense is scary. So I'll limit it to just Matt Stafford. But next week, if the Rams look like that again, they're going to be my week two winners.
Little double dip.
Max $8 million, week one, baby.
Famous Jameis Winston.
Yes, gotta be, man. Gotta be,
eating family of Florida State football. I mean, talk about a guy betting on himself. Sit out the whole year behind a quarterback of legendary status. Beat out the gimmick tight end coach's pet for the starting job. And what do? You absolutely dominate last year's MVP in a pseudo home game. 5 touchdowns with the fewest amount of yards in NFL history since they started tracking it in 1940. Wow. Fun fact for you. Shout out to Jameis Winston, man. I mean, a man who has been memed on plenty, but maybe it seems like the LASIK thing is maybe a little bit less than just Jameis actually can see.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
maybe
buying
it's
that.
maybe what the Saints were missing, according to Drew Brees. Maybe what the Saints were missing.
A quarterback who can get him more than 8 yards down the field. Who knew?
Yeah, man.
Woof. My week 1 winner, boys, is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, and more specifically, Chandler Mandler's.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I thought you were going Kyler Murray.
5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. If that's not the most dominant line I've heard in a lot that I can pull off the top
You forgot
of
his
my
most
head,
important stat.
was it 3 sacks in the first quarter?
No. One opponent tweeted about how bad they played against you.
That's
in
right.
real,
Yeah, Taylor Twelman.
I mean, you don't see that every day.
Taylor Lewan is a good left tackle too.
Yeah.
So
Your running back doesn't go for 2,000 yards without decent offensive linemen. I mean, the highlights from that game it was crazy. It was crazy to watch.
I'll tell you what, my prediction and myself as might be a winner as well as my Cardinals. I don't know. The Rams and Cardinals is going to be a shootout for that West, as the whole NFC West went 1-0 this week.
Yeah.
Boys, we're going to go back around and do our losers, but I'm going to go first so nobody takes mine. My loser is Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
that's a
poor
good
lad.
one.
Ooh,
That's a
really?
good one.
This
That's a
is
good one.
Surprised you to go the other.
This is the
big
first regular season loss in
That's
Trevor
why.
Lawrence's life. I'm going to say that one more time. Life.
High school, college, all that.
Ever. My man never lost in the regular
That's
season.
crazy.
It was gonna happen at some point, right?
Like, dude, are we worried about
Put a
his
pin in it.
Yeah.
Put a pin in it. Put a pin in
Yeah.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
is he done?
All
Is,
right.
is
Not
he
done.
over?
I'm big worried about Urban though. Big worried about
Ooh,
Urban.
That's I cannot believe you're going for Trevor Lawrence over Urban.
I
I'm
mean, they
with
both
you,
they
Mac.
wanted the
I'm with
same.
you.
They wanted the same. They wanted the same.
He was getting blown out by 17 in one quarter by the worst team in the league. This is not Ohio State, brother.
Yeah. I mean, Urban.
The
Sucks,
Texans'
brother.
team total was 20.5.
I
They
know.
had 17 in the first quarter.
Yeah. To me, it's just this is the first regular season loss in your lifetime. Trevor
That's-
Lawrence,
that's-
man.
You
That is-
remember this one. You remember this
Yeah.
one. for sure.
Trevor, take the L, hold it, don't hold on to it too long.
I mean, yeah, you in
Put it back
Jacksonville,
down.
you got opportunity to hold a lot of them things.
Don't hold it too long. Put it back down. But you know what I mean, Josh. Losers of week 1.
My biggest loser of week 1 is Matt Nagy. Oh my
Let's go.
goodness. What's more loser energy than promising the job to clearly the worst player and then for some reason holding on to that promise for months and months, and like I don't know what more you need to see. Justin Fields comes in and like he wasn't slinging the ball. He ran it in for a touchdown. But Andy Dalton clearly didn't have it. Yeah, that's more of the Rams being that good at defense. But come on, Matt Nagy. Like, what are we doing? What game are we playing here? Justin Fields is clearly, I want to say the answer, but he's your future. Roll with him. Work out the growing pains if you have to. It just makes no sense to me. I'd be losing it if I was a Bears fan.
It's the red rifle, bro. You can't turn.
Dude, in Matt
Like the
Nagy's
red
words,
BB
you
gun.
have to see what
The red
Andy
rifle
Dalton
was
can do in
jammed
the
up.
regular season. There's no film of him in the regular season. What can he do? You have to figure it out.
Misfired. That's a tough one. JJ, your
My-
losers of week 1.
My biggest loser. One of us got to say it.
Yep.
One of us got to say it. them Green Bay Packers, and not just as a whole. I'm gonna zero in on Devontae Adams in particular as the biggest loser, and it's really not anything that he did in particular, but it sucks when you are indirectly hit when you catch a stray bullet in someone else's beef, and he caught a stray bullet in what is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers beef because he plays the most dependent position in the NFL. If Aaron Rodgers has a bad game, it's almost impossible for Devontae Adams to have a good one.
Well, Devontae didn't have a great game.
He didn't have a great game either. But if Aaron Rodgers is more on the button and he's making plays, Tay breaks out and gets one, and that's all that he needs. There was no opportunity for it to happen. So when your quarterback goes up, when your quarterback goes up and throw up a dud, like you can't throw the ball to yourself. Like you can't get the offense started. You're a receiver. So it's. I know Tay Adams is very loyal to his quarterback, and they have the whole last dance thing. Let's not forget he's also playing for a contract too. So I know they have that whole thing going on, this whole one last dance thing. So
he's gonna get his money. He
gonna get his money, but his market value need to stay up there. Like this is This is the NFL now, Banners. You don't act like all these NFL owners won't use this last year if he has a bad year to bring down some dollars. He gonna get his money.
I mean,
But they absolutely,
real quick,
I do not put it past any NFL owner to bring up the 2021 stats and bring and take a couple of 10 or 20 million.
Goes right back to your point, like and Tay can just easily respond, bro. Look where I was and what was going on.
Absolutely. And an objective eye will see that. We working with objective eyes over there.
Well, maybe not, but
yeah, no.
you know what I mean? Can your answer be extrapolated to just Green Bay as a whole?
Yeah, the whole just Wisconsin really. Because what else is going on?
Tay was even like, yeah, no extension, thanks though. And now
hey, this is he sat out the first what week or two of minicamp with the rest of the receivers in solidarity. Like this is. And now look, if I'm Devontae Adams, it's a shaky baby.
Yeah.
Shaky. If I'm Devontae Adams, I go up to A-Rod like, hey man, I rode for you. That happens once. What just happened today? That happens once. There's no more. You got it out.
Max $1 million. Who's your loser of week 1?
I want to leave the obvious one out there. I mean, maybe this is a little bit of Eagles bias shining through, but how could it not be the Falcons? Get absolutely embarrassed at home. Like,
what'd you expect?
I mean, just the way that they went about it, they were lifeless in the second half. The coaching was terrible. Like we touched on this earlier, but how pissed would you be as a fan that if you're trying, you're down hopelessly in the game, multiple touchdowns, you need all you can get. Why isn't the ball getting force fed to your number 1 draft pick? The guy that you pass on your real positions of need for. Why is Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts not getting 80% of every target, let alone 80% of the targets in the second half when all you can do is pass the ball?
Amen.
It absolutely bewildered me seeing the coaches, Arthur Smith and his staffs, just their stubbornness to get Cordero Patterson and to keep try to keep the Eagles honest on the ground. Just that whole second half was embarrassed. Like it felt like I was watching an Eagles game last year where it didn't matter the deficit. I knew there was no legitimate chance they had to come back and win. I just, once the Eagles got to a certain point in games last year, I knew it didn't matter what the score was, whether they were down 1 or 15. They were just cooked at that point. And that's what the Falcons felt like as soon as halftime.
And I don't know how much I blame it. A lot of it is on Matt Ryan. Or a lot of it is on the coaches.
Corpse of Matt Ryan?
Yeah, a lot of it is on the coaches. But most of it's on Matt Ryan. Like this is the same quarterback who had Julio Jones on the squad, and that man went into the season with 3 touchdowns.
That's true.
Like you know what I mean? It makes me wonder: is this on coaching staff or is this Matt Ryan thinking he's out?
It almost feels like a change. It feels like just like an aura is around the team. Like it's like that one of those ownership has to changes. Like Arthur Blank has nothing to do with what happens on the field, but it feels like until he's gone, the Falcons are just going to be terrible.
When you blow a 28-3 lead in a quarter and some change, the football gods reign supreme over you. There's a dark cloud over you.
We talked about Jonathan Gannon making adjustments on the fly during the game. Arthur Smith had a whole offseason to change his philosophies, and he just acted like he had Derrick Henry back there. He goes, yeah, you know what? We're going to establish the run because my running back is going to stiff arm people out of the stadium, so he's going to establish the run by himself, and then Calvin Ridley's good. Like, you had a whole offseason to realize that you got Cordero Patterson, Mike Davis, and some dudes who I never heard of before. Like, doesn't that, you know what I mean? And Kyle Pitts had 4 catches for 31 yards.
These short little, like, here you go passes.
Yeah.
Like, is that not
the easy ones? They're all the easy throws. Make a hard throw. Like, force him the ball.
Russell Gage didn't even have a this. Never mind. I didn't want to stop looking at that box score.
They're just the Falcons. I'll bring it full circle. They're just the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad for picking on them, but it's just like if I was a fan, they were lifeless. Like I would be. I have been pissed watching teams act like they're trying to stay competitive towards the end of the games when it just feels like everybody wants to go home. And for that to happen week 1, I'd be pissed as a fan.
Well, boys, we're gonna get into our second half. And Josh, SNE, bro. What acronyms? I'm not good with acronyms.
Something, nothing, everything.
Oh, hey, here we go. I like this. I like
SNE, little SNE.
Something, nothing, everything. You boys know how it works. Apparently, I don't because I need help with an acronym. For the people who watching, I am going to give them a phrase, or I can really give them whatever, and they're going to tell me whether it's something, nothing, or everything. So, boys, Jameis,
Eating the W, baby.
Eating W's, something, nothing, or everything. Max.
I mean, it's got to be something, right? Like the Packers clearly would have lost to anybody they played yesterday. It could have been the Lions. It could have been the Texans. Anybody would have beat the Packers for how uninspired they looked yesterday.
Happy band.
With that being said, I mean, Jameis made a couple of gorgeous touchdown throws. He didn't have to do much to get them down there. Alvin Kamara was running all over them. They got a bunch of turnovers that led to easy points. You know, the Packers had to go for it on downs a couple times deep in their own territory that led to free touchdowns for the Saints. You know, I think it's got to be something because you don't blow a team out that convincingly without it being something. But it can't be everything because, I mean, it almost looked like like Alabama was playing an FCS school just to pay them $1 million to smash them in Tuscaloosa because everything was just so easy for the Saints offense. So something, not everything.
All right, JJ. Something, nothing, everything. Jameis eating W's.
I'm trying to ignore that comment from Corey just now.
And Corey, I don't know. You got to check back.
All Corey's trying to do is disrupt my peace right now. That's all Corey's trying to do. It's a whole lot of something. Jameis eating a W. It's just shy of everything, but it's definitely a whole lot of something. It's everything if he does it next week. Because the biggest thing about Jameis, as my former number 1 overall draft pick, the biggest question mark is his consistency. He can throw 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns this game. He can throw 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions next week, and we're right back to square one. So if Jameis does that again next week, then it jumps to everything for me because it's starting to show that not only is he playing better, he's playing more consistent. And if he does that, the Saints might have solved their quarterback issues and they're right back to being one of the top teams in the NFL.
Josh, something, nothing, everything.
You guys don't want to do it. I'm going to do it. I think it's everything right here. I really do. I've been a big Jameis guy, and I really felt bad for him when, last year, really Taysom Hill above him in the depth chart. And, Mac, I mean, it sounds crazy. It sounds like I'm really looking into tea leaves. I'm a believer in the LASIK thing. Your eyesight is everything. And if that really might have fixed it a little bit, I'm not saying he's an MVP or anything like that, but he's always been such a gunslinger. And look, he's not going to go 5 touchdowns, no interceptions every game. But I don't know. I thought the Saints team was going to have a hard time finding an identity in the post-Drew Brees era. And no, I'm not saying Jameis Winston's Drew Brees. Jameis Winston's Jameis Winston. And he is the guy that he was a few years ago before he was famous for being in the 30-30 club. I think the Saints have got themselves a nice little recipe here for success. I'm going with everything. I don't think he's going to be lights out every week, but I think the Saints will – that changed how I felt about the Saints. Sure, it's one game.
Agreed.
But it really did change how I feel about the Saints. And real quick, Corey, I want to be very clear. I've been believing in us this whole time, all right? You get mad at everyone else.
What Josh is referencing. Corey, you said nothing wrong. We try to be objective here. As much as some people on the show would like to be.
Say it, Corey, you said something wrong. You said blow out the Niners. That's wrong.
We have a script to stick to, Corey, okay? Scory? I actually kind of like that.
Scory.
I'm going to say it's everything for 2 reasons. And Josh, you touched on one of them. This was a hell of an advertisement for LASIK, boys.
There you go.
If you can't see well at night, if you got to put glasses on to read, if you got trouble in the rain when driving, you might go get LASIK and throw 5 touchdowns. I don't know. I'm not telling you what to do. And I think it's everything for another reason because of the NFC playoff picture. The number 1 seed in the NFC is now looking not even vulnerable. It's looking like they might be fighting for a wild card spot in the NFC, depending on how the NFC North shakes up, which, by the way, might be hilariously bad. But the Packers, their defense didn't look good. Their offense didn't look great. Their offensive line, which has been historically good, has historically been good. It wasn't historical level. Didn't look good. Just the Packers overall could be on a speeding train to Nowheresville, which is pretty much just right back in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So I'm gonna go everything.
Shots fired. You took you got that opportunity out. Real quick before we move on, I'm interested to see how Slant Boy reincorporates Slant Boy being Mike Thomas reincorporates into that offense. Now that it has shades of a down the field offense. He's missing 5-6 games. So if that offense starts going down the field, where does Slant Boy fit into there?
I just want to
nice safety
be
blanket. Nice
I just want to
safety
be
blanket.
honest. I completely forgot Michael Thomas was on the Saints.
You know what I mean?
Brought him up.
Slant Boy.
Oh my God, bro. Something, nothing, or everything. Number 2 here, boys. Did I get them in the wrong order? I did. Steel
That's all
Courtney
right. Shake it off.
thwarts Bills Mafia. This one was not a fantastic football game, boys, but has some pretty big ramifications in the AFC playoff picture in the power structure. So Max, something, nothing, or everything with this Bills team.
Max's Bills.
I mean, it's only fair that I get brought to the stake here for the Bills. I honestly, they just collapsed in the second half. It almost feels like they got in their own way. There was a lot of drops. There was an absolute ton of penalties. The Steelers really capitalized on the biggest play of the game, which was a block punt touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point, it seemed like the Bills were just checked out mentally. I think it shows that the Steelers I'll say the Steelers defense is still pretty good. That offense was – it was a tale of two halves, and the second half was not anything that blew you away, but it was enough to get the job done.
Exactly.
But the first half of the Steelers offense was absolutely brutal. I'm still not totally sold on them. I think this will help, make the Bills better in the long run. But this was a great match for the Steelers. The Steelers are obviously super, super adept at creating turnovers, and that's what Josh Allen's biggest issue. I think he fumbled twice in this game, and that's how you beat the Bills. You make Josh Allen turn the ball over. One last thing I'd note about this game, very odd that the Bills didn't have Zach Moss active and chose to run with Matt Breida, who they only used on special teams, and Devin Singletary. I guess the idea was to try and spread out the Steelers a little bit, but it seemed like having no real running threat ultimately, it just made them too one-dimensional, too predictable ultimately. So it is. I think it's more of everything for the Steelers, but it is something for the Bills as well.
JJ.
Max, I pretty much echo every sentiment you just said, and for that reason, I'm looking at this from the Bills' point of view, and it's nothing. We got you, like you said, a lot of uncharacteristic things happen. The block punt on special teams, us having drops, us shooting ourselves in the foot, timely penalties, our MVP hopeful quarterback not really showing up when we needed him most, and dropping a home win to start the season. Like, that's what surprised me the most. You want to talk about a venue who's most excited to be back in person? Who's more excited than people jumping off RVs to smash tables over there at Bills Mafia? So for the Bills not to take advantage of that is, a little weird. And so from this standpoint, it's not a throw the tape out game because you didn't, get absolutely obliterated by the Steelers. But this is hey, we know that wasn't us. Watch the tape, review it, fix the things. And when we play Bills, football, we know if the Steelers play us again and we're playing our brand of football, they don't beat us. Because I don't think there was anything I saw from the Steelers side that I was like, wow, this is way more of the Steelers are better than we thought they were, than the Bills are worse than we thought they were.
I agree.
Joshua.
Yeah, I'm pretty much agreeing with you guys here. I really think this was nothing for the Bills, but I think it was everything for the Steelers in the sense where we need to put some respect on their name. I think a lot of us are remembering the end of their season and forgetting they started, what was it, 11-0 or like 13-0?
That's an impressive win.
11-0. And I mean, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly. And I fell into that trap too. I did not fall into the Bills trap, however. I was very happy with the Steelers plus 6.5 because this was just a horrible matchup for the Bills. I don't think the Steelers are better than the Bills. I just think when these two teams play each other, their matchup really just works in the Steelers' favor. So, yeah, I mean, I got nothing too much to say. I think it's week one. The defenses are always a little ahead of the offenses, and we saw it right there. Bills are going to be fine, but don't sleep on the Steelers.
Well, Deion Dawkins and Tyler Medikevich up there, those Temple Tough boys, they'll right the ship. Don't worry about it.
My classmates.
Right. Yeah, they'll be
no big
right.
deal.
Our last something, nothing, everything. I touched on it a little bit earlier. 3 interceptions to the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Say it one more time. 3 of them interceptions picked off 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
What
to
team?
the Texans of Houston, the football team that resides in Houston called the Texans. That has
the guy with the preacher general, the team with the preacher general manager.
Yeah,
3.
Sunshine.
Something, nothing, or everything here, huh, Max?
I mean, It's got to be something, and I think simply because Urban Meyer, I think we all had at least everyone had some form of trepidation of like, hey, buddy, this is a totally different beast than college. And I mean, he got overwhelmed by what we all thought was going to be by far the worst team in the league. So how can you not expect the Jaguars to have to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game? To me, look at what Joe Burrow had to do last year before he went down with injury. I think that's what we're looking at for Trevor Lawrence this year.
And what's scary about that, Digits, is you say, look what happened to Joey Burrow before he went down, and then what happened to Joe Burrow, as a result of what was happening.
The Bengals offensive line was
I was about to say,
terrible last year. The Jags stink, but I think the reason why this is
a little bit better. But we're not talking about light years better. And let's remember, their second first-round pick wasn't an offensive lineman to help protect their number one overall pick. It was a running back who is now out for the entire season. So the next opportunity to help build around your rookie quarterback is out for the season, and it was the wrong pick to begin with.
Sorry, one other quick thing here, kind of unrelated to Lawrence or Urban. James Robinson barely touched the ball.
Yes.
It seems like Urban Meyer doesn't.
Urban Meyer wants to use his new shiny toy. He wants to use his new shiny toy.
But he doesn't have it, so I don't know. I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, that's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that all these, and some proves to why this is everything, because these are things that I don't think stop after week one. Like these are problems that I could see continuing for the Jaguars, man. This was an indication, a microcosm of how the season may go. And you just never want to see your quarterback struggle like that. I think it's everything.
Yeah, true.
Josh.
I think it's nothing. But JJ, I do agree with your point because I think it's all Urban Meyer's fault. Like, there's no other way to put it. I think it's all on Urban Meyer. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a very good quarterback in this league. Like,
I don't think it's all on Urban, because I haven't seen anything from Trevor that makes me think he's like not anything, but I haven't seen a full put together slate from Trevor. I haven't been crazy enthused of what I've seen from Trevor yet. 3 interceptions in his debut. He didn't look overly impressive in the preseason as well. So I haven't seen anything that shows me that Trevor Lawrence is like the same that we thought he was in college. I haven't seen it yet. I'll say yet, but I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I just think it's nothing. I mean, I'm not trying to compare him to Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning had so many interceptions and turnovers his rookie year. I think some of these guys just need to work out the kinks, especially when you're not running the ball with a really good running back in this guy's first time playing in the NFL. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't get to watch a ton of this game, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I can break down all of Urban Meyer's X's and O's. But I know the basic facts is that Robinson wasn't touching the ball a ton, and you got to give your rookie quarterback a help. I don't care if it's the golden boy Trevor Lawrence. So I think it's going to be a rough year for the Jags. Last year when they were drafting him, I foolishly said, "Oh, Jags for the playoffs, maybe?" No, not at all. They're going to have a very down year. But I think in the grand scheme of Trevor Lawrence's career, this is nothing. He's going to work it out. He'll be a good quarterback.
When Urban Meyer leaves after 1 year, probably nothing can be worse than that for his career.
I would agree. I'm going to say this is something, and I feel like this is going to be, and I'm calling it now, book it. We can check this tape. Urban Meyer is going to walk away after 1 year citing a health reason as to why he's leaving.
Oh, no doubt.
When pretty much everybody under the sun knows that the Jaguars looked at him and go,
I think if he's going to do the health reason thing, he's not even going to make it 17 games if he's going to go health.
Really the guy.
Yeah, you might as well bow out sooner than that.
And I'm not worried about Trevor Lawrence at all. Like I'm really not. Like, those 3 interceptions, sure, they're bad, but like the flash plays that he had as well, like, brought it pretty much back even, maybe even pushed ahead. Because let's be honest, the Jaguars team, I was not one of those people who immediately became a believer in the Jags team just because of Trevor Lawrence. They have Trevor Lawrence, but they are the Jaguars.
True. And
it's something because I have James Robinson on one of my fantasy teams, and I'm pretty upset. Pretty upset, guys. That's I'm upset about that. That was terrible. That was awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not ideal.
So let's tap it out. Let's tap it out here, boys. I'll go first. I want to give a little snaps and claps here to Miss Chaka, the first African American woman to be a referee on the NFL sidelines. I think that's massive. Just want to give her few minutes in the sun, as if she didn't have it already, as if we're not just another outlet giving her props. So wanted to get that out there.
I didn't even know. I literally didn't even hear about that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Your message reached one person.
Look at that. JJ, Josh, Max.
I got a little two-parter.
Wow.
One, make sure that on Friday evenings, afternoons, you're keeping an eye out on the Trust the Process Instagram for
yes,
mine and
sir.
Josh's new series called Trust the Picks.
Trust the
Not
picks.
to brag, I had a killer 3-4 in 1 week to start. The only game that I missed was a nice little bad beat on the Arizona-Tennessee over. So if you want to get in touch with your degenerate side this year, with the NFL officially actually embracing gambling and having official gambling partners, feel free to check out our Instagram. It'll be on IGTV. Moving forward, it'll all be in one episode, not in 3 parts, because me and Josh figured out how to upload clips longer than 10 minutes to IGTV. So that's always fun.
Little trial run there.
Exactly. Second thing, this was going to be my tap out before somehow we made it this whole hour without plugging ourselves yet. With football season comes a lot of good eating and a lot of unhealthy eating. Yeah. So this isn't going to be a gym shaming thing, but I am going to tell you, make sure you take care of your teeth. I'm investing in my mouth this football season. I got myself a nice electronic water pick so I can floss because, we all don't floss. I know none of you do. I don't. Nobody flosses. Trying to change that. Also got myself some teeth whitening strips so I can get all that red wing sauce residue off.
I love it. I love this, Digits.
I'm trying to better myself this winter. I want a nice shiny smile.
I love it, man.
For the Eagles Super Bowl.
Go ahead, get your hygiene on, man. Go ahead, get your hygiene
be
on.
green. I love it. Let's go.
Right,
so that's the tap out. Take care of your teeth. And if you need to go see a dentist, go do it. I'm sure nobody's done it since the pandemic started. I'm not really inclined to do it. That's why I'm getting the water flosser and everything. But hey, a couple months taking care of your teeth. Go to the dentist in a couple months and be like, holy shit, you floss? And be like, yeah, I do. I got a water floss.
Make you feel good.
Right, I do.
Take care of your chickens, take care of your mentals, take care of your teeth.
I love that. Let's see. Before we get to you guys, does anybody know why Scott did not play yesterday? It wasn't that he didn't play. It was they wanted to. From what I saw,
he didn't play. But I think he's just the victim of a new coaching regime. Honestly,
see what the rookie has to do.
They liked what Gainwell brought, especially in the passing game, and then picking up blitzes as well. So that's kind of what I saw. Corey, we love you, man. I had to get that to you.
Corey, man, I hope you join us every Monday night, man.
Yeah, man. Let's see, Jay.
Corey, if the Eagles do win, especially if they do blow it out, you have full permission from resident Eagles fan president of the show to come back here and be as wildly ignorant to Banner and JJ as you want in the comments section. You have my full permission. Me and Josh will support you.
Anybody scared of Scory over there?
When did
Trust me, I am.
Hey, you two aren't the Eagles fans. You're guilty by association. Sorry.
My God, I thought I've been playing the middle pretty well here.
You do, but what am I supposed to? I can't put it all on JJ.
Come to the dark side, man.
I live in that gray area. I'm a ghost. Boys, will you tapping out either of you?
Yeah, my tap out's really quick. I need to figure out where I can petition to sign up the Philadelphia Western Suburbs highways, the collection of them, as the worst collection of highways in America. Where can I? Because in one day I had to experience not only 76 but 202 and 422 all in one Sunday night. And if there is ever a trifecta of misery, that's it right there. Times there just shouldn't be traffic. Like 10:30 p.m. on a Sunday. Why am I on the road? But more importantly, why are all of you on the road?
Exactly.
More importantly, why are there only 2 lanes on this road? There's so many just things wrong, and it seems like once a month I have to just get this off my chest because I really just don't understand how these highways are so bad, and they've all spent majority of my life under construction.
Oh my God, JJ,
what were we constructing? What's different about this road? It's the same road. But there's just cones everywhere.
I'm 25 years old. 202 has been under construction long before I was alive, and it will be under construction long after I'm dead.
And there's nothing different. And there's nothing different about any of these highways ever.
Still road.
No.
Man, I had to deal with morning going to school and work traffic, trying to get to the mall this morning for work on 422. And that just made me throw up a little bit because I realized I'm part of the morning going to work traffic. I'm part of the problem, boys.
Woof.
Be the change you want to see.
Josh,
just don't go to work in the morning.
Yeah, two quick things. One, pretty sure Digits and I went a combined 10-3 with our gambling picture this week. What a start! What an absolute fire start! My second thing here is I will be making my debut. Quick plug. I'll be making my on-air desk debut for Owl Sports Update this Thursday. If you're not doing anything at noon,
let's go.
We're live. We're on the desk. We'll be talking Temple football and all Temple sports. And this is what I came to school for, fellas. This is like me getting my starting quarterback chance.
You better put that on the Trust the Process Instagram, so it'll be more likely to show up in my personal algorithm. because your profile won't, but trust the process will.
Sounds like a
You
plan, fellas.
basically
Sounds
just
like
said
a
you're
plan.
not a big enough deal to be on his TL, so throw it somewhere else for him.
I mean, trust the process is just like first thing, always. Whenever we have a new
Hey, man,
story,
you go and break a leg there, Doc Lock, man. Best of
Okay.
luck
Oh,
to you.
boys, it's been fun. Hey, as always, you got to check out our friends over at PHL Sports Nation. You can find them wherever on any social media platform. And then us, if you were not lucky enough to be here with us live, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, Anchor, Apple, Spotify, anywhere in between. You find a place where we aren't, we'll get ourselves there just for you. Trust the Process Live, TTPL Philly. You know how to find us. As always, we're going to get you again next week. See if it's another Victory Monday again next week. 1 o'clock game versus the 49ers here in Philadelphia. So until next week, everybody, we're brought to you by Mind Philly, where something's always new.
And everything
Everything's
is
always
always
Philly.
Philly.
Have a
See you
good
next
one.
week.
Don't forget.
Corey.
Trust the Picks live Friday evenings, Instagram TV. One last plug. Take me out, Banners.
Hey, 10-3. Who says you can't beat Vegas?
I can't believe Digit said I tried to take his happiness away.